Welcome, friends of Japanese prints. I'm Dieter. I'm the owner of the Artelino company, and my little family company sells Japanese prints in weekly online auctions. With today's video, I want to present one of the woodblock prints that we have in the current auction. And it's rather famous, it's rather valuable, and it's by Hiroshige, the great landscape printmaker and master of the first half of the 19th century. Hiroshige was born in 1797 and he died in 1858. Well, for those who have no idea about Japanese prints and never heard the name of Hiroshige, okay, let me talk a little bit about the artist and let me show an image. So, that is not a photograph, of course. It's a woodblock print, just like the one that I just showed to you. And it's a so-called memorial print, which was made at the occasion of the death of the master in 1858. Hiroshige was the son of a low-ranking samurai who was in the service of the ruling shogun and worked at the castle as a fire warden, while his father, the castle of Edo, that's the old name for today's Tokyo. Hiroshige, already at a young age, he learned how to make woodblock prints. He learned also how to carve woodblock prints, and he decided not to become a fire warden, fireman practically, but to become an artist, a printmaker, an ukiyo-e artist. And he specialized in landscape prints, and he became famous with a series called 53 Stations of the Tokaido. Tokaido, again, a name you may never have heard. So what is that? The Tokaido, that was an old road. You must imagine that a kind of an old medieval highway system in ancient Japan. And the Tokaido connected Edo, today Tokyo, with Kyoto. And Kyoto was the residence of the emperor. And Edo, of course, capital and the residence of the ruling shogun. And this was the most busy roads of all. And we must imagine that the stations are like a little bit like today's rest areas along our highways, There were stations where travelers and porters could find accommodation for the night, where you had restaurants where you could eat. And this complete road between Kyoto and Edo had 53 stations. And this series was very successful. So until the end of his life, Hiroshige, he made more series. So roughly 30, I say roughly, sounds like, I don't know it precisely, or history doesn't know it. No, we know it precisely. It's well documented. We know these series, but usually in the literature, it's used circa or roughly, because a few of these series were not made alone by Hiroshige, but in cooperation with other artists. So before I now I want to show you this specific design again. But first, let's talk a little bit about the series. The series is called Upright Tokaido because it has this portrait format. Normally, when you make a landscape drawing or a landscape print, you would use landscape format, and Hiroshige did for most. This is portrait, and therefore, it got by collectors and art specialists, it got the name of Upright Tokaido. The series consists overall of 55 prints. So, hey, that's not strange. 53 stations, 55 prints. It's quite easy. 53 stations plus the destination point in Kyoto and the starting point in Edo, so that's 55. Publisher was Tsutaya Kihitsu. And now let's take a little bit a closer look at this specific design. This is the number 35 of the series, and it shows the station Yoshida. It's one of the most popular designs from the series. A bridge is beautiful, sailboats, Sumida River, and look at these gradations. Collectors of Japanese prints use a Japanese term for that, bokashi. It's not so well recognizable here on the screen. Take a look at the image of our online catalog. This print is an original. It's not a reproduction. It's a later printing, but still in Edo period, which lasted until 1868. And what is an original? An original is when it's printed, when the paper is pulled from the original blocks. And what's a reproduction? When the blocks are destroyed, let's say by fire or just by too much use, then new blocks were carved also by hand. But then such a print that is pulled from a newly recarved block is called a reproduction. But again, this is an original. The print has some condition problems, but no major condition problems. They were rather minor. But please read the descriptions that are made by my Japanese wife, Yori. Read them in detail. She makes very good descriptions and very detailed, more detailed than I can make it in this little video. Last but not least, the print has a reserve. The reserve, that is the minimum bid you have to place to get it, if you don't get any counter bids. So the reserve is $700. Yes, this is a very valuable print. All the prints from the Ando Hiroshige Tokaido series, they are not cheap. Well, so much for today. Today is February 10 of 2021. And I told you this wonderful print is in our current auction. And this auction ends coming Sunday, February 14th at 8 p.m. Central European Time. We are here in Germany, and we are 6 hours ahead of you guys on the US East Coast. Well, so much for today. Thanks for watching. And I would be pleased to see you in our next video. And of course, I would be pleased, very, very pleased to see you bidding in our auctions. Thank you.